Hello everybody, hey, it's Rob at Old Style Classics Baseball Cards and Other Hobbies, and today's special episode from my girl Debbie Gibson. So, why? Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Debbie Gibson, happy birthday to you. So Debbie Gibson's 54th birthday today, August 31st, 2024. And so my story with Debbie Gibson here is when I was in high school, or going into high school, somewhere around there, when I was getting into harder rock, Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin and all that, a lot more. I was walking out the door, the TV was playing, MTV was on, and I was walking out the door to go do something. You know, Debbie Gibson here, Shake Your Love, was playing on MTV, and it stopped me dead in my tracks, and I was like head over heels. It's like instantly, because I wasn't into like pop, you know. I mean, you'd all hear it and listen to it back in those days, but I was getting more into hard rock and stuff like that. But then when I walked by, I was, what is that? Oh my God. And then I saw her, and I was like, had that teen crush. And and I like her music. She has a lot of fun music here. This is a Barnes & Noble exclusive of her first album in 1987, I believe. And the deal with her, she's from Long Island, New York. I think she's Italian. And she started writing music when she was a little kid, performed in like theater and all that stuff, did some commercials. She was actually in Ghostbusters. When they go up to the restaurant window and they're looking in the restaurant window in Ghostbusters, and the little girl turns her head and sees them, that's Debbie Gibson, uncredited, but her first album there. I'll have to do some adjusting as I go. Out of the Blue, Staying Together, Only in My Dreams, Foolish Beat, Red Hot, all great songs. Wake Up to Love, Shake Your Love, Fallen Angel, Play the Field, Between the Lines. Between the Lines, one of her best songs ever. I love that. That's my favorite, along with this one, because that's how I discovered her. And then, of course, Foolish Beat, her first #1 song. The youngest person to ever write, produce, and record a #1. She was 16, I think, when she did all that. And she was writing songs like when she was 14. You can go on YouTube and find some of the stuff that she did in her garage or basement or whatever. You know, writing these songs a couple years even before she was 16. And then she has some like outtakes, like Settle the Score, which is really good. It's just amazing that somebody was doing that when they were like 12, 13. When I was 12 or 13, I was worried about, you know, where I was going to get my next pack of gum or something like that. So Miss Debbie Gibson, and of course I had her CD back then, but this vinyl was an exclusive for Barnes & Noble, and this came with this blue, electric blue or whatever. Then of course her second #1 hit came on the next album, Electric Youth, which same name as her perfume that all those girls used to like, and it was Lost in Your Eyes. So she has a bunch of hits, but 2 #1 hits through her career, and multiple albums. And then she went on when the 90s happened. You know, like in the mid-90s, she did this album, which is really good. It's more like a lot of ballads and stuff like that. And she does some covers, which she normally didn't do because she usually wrote her own music. So she did some covers here. But that was the grunge era, so this one didn't sell as well. But so she went on and did Broadway. So she did like Grease and stuff like that, like Les Mis or something like that. So, and went over to London as well, and did a lot of stuff through the 90s and probably early 2000s. And she released music here and there throughout that. And she got some cool stuff like What You Want, Naked and all that stuff from that late 90s, early 2000s era. And then she's done all these TV shows like Skating with the Stars and all that. So before I move on, in that Barnes & Noble record that we just showed you, that's why I ordered it through them, because it was a special, like, what is it, 35th anniversary, I believe. And it came with a signed photo from Debbie Gibson. Now, through the years, you know, I had a crush on her, like in high school and like maybe just after high school, and all the girls would dress like her, and then they wore the little Debbie Gibson hat, the little like pork pie hat. And I remember my high school girlfriend used to kind of look like her a little bit, just maybe not so much like directly in the face, but just the way she dressed and stuff like that. So maybe she was doing it because she knew I liked Debbie Gibson. I don't know. But that's pretty neat. So this came with it. So I picked this up in September 8th, 2020. So I had never seen her in concert because, as far as I know, she had never gone to Albuquerque. And I, you know, as a teenager when she was really popular and would have been touring, that I would know about, because, you know, there was no internet till later. She never went to Albuquerque, and I wouldn't have known if she was in Denver or Phoenix, and probably couldn't afford to have gone anyways. So I never got to see her. She never came, as far as I know. After I talked to her, she said they were there one time, but it seems like maybe in the last 15 years, and I've been here for like 12 years, so she wasn't exactly sure when. So maybe she did something there, I don't know, maybe like one of those Pride festivals or something like that. But nevertheless, always had a crush on her. I mean, the second I saw her, I was like, oh my god. So hopefully my wife can't hear that, but she knows. Anyways, so always had a crush on her, always liked her music, so I would start listening to it because I was attracted to her. So of course, you know, you like that stuff. So anyways, I had to wait years and years. Even when I had a MySpace page, I had like a whole Debbie Gibson little section on there. I'm not like one of those super stalker fans or something like that. I just appreciate her, and always thought back at the time she would make good like Las Vegas lounge singer if she wasn't touring like big. Like have a Las Vegas show where she does kind of her hits and kind of like some standards, like a Sinatra kind of thing, you know, like playing the piano and then laying across the piano dressed like one of those old school Vegas kind of things. And it turns out now she moved to Vegas and lives there and has done some shows like that. So that's her first album. Now, of course, through the years she's been on cards, and she's still on cards. You can still get her in like Pop Century, but these are the ones from when she was more popular. Superstars, the rock cards that they used to have. So we got Debbie Gibson playing piano, sitting there with her wet hair look, the long hair look. Then these two here, and this is like a little bootleg. I liked it because it was Tobacco Mini, so I wanted that, and I think I have a duplicate or one of these two as well. And and then of course it tells you about her, so you can read about that and learn more about her. Now it does have an error in here where it says Foolish Heart instead of Foolish Beat as the #1 song. Right here there's an error. So it's actually Foolish Beat. There's her albums. And they always tried to rival her against Tiffany, and they turned out to be friends. Like, they didn't know each other. They became friends because people wanted to make a rivalry out of them. And I actually did meet Tiffany. I did see her in Albuquerque like around 2005, and I got to meet her. She was really nice as well, but I prefer Debbie Gibson. I just do. So I'm Team Debbie. So anyhow, moving forward, I'd never seen her, and you know, it was like one of the things she was like high on my checklist of bands to see. So then, when I found out they were doing this tour, the New Kids on the Block Mixtape Tour in 2019, right before COVID, got tickets to go see her. And now what they would do is they would come out, play 2 or 3 songs, and then the other bands would come out and play. So it was Debbie Gibson, Tiffany, I think Naughty by Nature, and a couple rapper girls. Maybe it'll come to me. So they would play like 3 songs, and then they would go under the stage, and then the next person would pop up, and it would be like Debbie Gibson. She would play like 2 or 3 songs, and she would go down, and Tiffany would come out, and then Naughty by Nature, and then what are their names? It's not TLC, but it's that Salt and Peppa. I think it was Salt and Peppa would come up and play. So like a mixtape, you know, you would have 2 of this person, 2 of that person, 2 of this person, and then the stage was shaped like a tape, and then on the outside they had like a CD, and then Debbie Gibson would pop up there and play a couple more songs. So she did like a short little bit of her hits, you know. I think Foolish Beat, which is on YouTube, which is like a really watched version of that song, was from the San Jose SAP Center. It's like 2 million views or something, so you can see that, where she played that with the guy from New Kids on the Block that she's good friends with. So like Out of the Blue, Only in Your Dreams, Shake Your Love, Foolish Beat, and Lost in Your Eyes, and maybe one other, but that was it. So it wasn't like a full-on Debbie Gibson concert with her backup dancers and, or you know, like full-on band or anything like that. They just kind of shared whatever musicians were there, and it was cool. And like when she first came out, I was like, me and my wife went, and she knew I have a crush on her. And so when she came out, I was like, Debbie. So I got a little emotional. It was kind of funny. You know, it's just, you've been waiting so long to see something, you know, almost 40 years, and then it's like it finally happens, and it's like, you can't believe everything that happened to finally get you to that point. And, but it was a really good show, but you had to sit through the other people, and, you know, I'm not a New Kids on the Block fan by any means, boy bands. So I'm more of a rocker dude and country guy. And Tiffany was good, and they, you know, I'm not big into rap, but the other ones, they had enough stuff that I knew. So it was cool, but it was not like satisfying in the sense of getting to see who you want to see. And so it was still cool, and it was packed. Oh, I think one of the disappointing things too, the lady sitting next to me or behind me was like, "Who's Debbie Gibson? Get her off the stage. I don't know who that is. We want to see Joey or whoever from New Kids on the Block." And I'm like looking at her like, you know what? Shut up. I've waited 35, 36 years to see this. Just because you don't know who she is by name, just shut the hell, you know. I was pissed. So, but anyway, so I just kind of gave her a dirty look, and then she kind of shut up, and then like she started playing her music, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know that's who that was, you know. So anyways, people, you know, so that happened. So it was like, okay, check, I got to see her finally, but it was like, you know, not a satisfying check, in the sense like, if that's all I could get, then that's great, then I could say I seen her. Just like if it was Pink Floyd, if Pink Floyd came out and did like 3 songs for like Live Aid, and I was there, I'd be like, okay, I got to see Pink Floyd. But it's not still seeing a full-on Pink Floyd concert. So anyways, fast forward from then, and then she came out with a new album, and it's called The Body Remembers. So that was in 2021, she released this album. Now, of course, I follow her on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And so she went on tour, and I saw that she went on tour, and of course she wasn't here. You know, I probably could have gone to LA or something, but it's kind of difficult, you know. And I don't want to go to LA if I don't have to. And then, so when she wrapped up that tour, a couple months later, she announced that she was doing a second leg, so an encore tour for the Body Remembers. And of course, she was going to be playing up in this area. So the Bankhead Theater, I believe that's in Livermore. And that would have been my 589th concert. And I had to go to work that day. Got off a little early, and I got stuck in the traffic jam because it's always bad from going to the South Bay up to the East Bay. And so it's like, if here's the bay and here's where I'm at, you gotta get stuck in the traffic to get to this freeway, and then it's just stop and go all the way up to like Oakland, way up here, where like the Coliseum is right over here. Well, then Livermore is like, then there's another freeway that goes behind Oakland to like Concord and then off to Sacramento, but there's like a freeway in between. So 880, 680, and then this way is to Sacramento, and this Livermore is way out here. And then if you just keep going, then you'd hit the road that goes to Sacramento. But it's way out here. It's like, let's say 40 miles from where I'm at. But on a weekday, that might as well be 200 miles because it's about an hour and a half drive. I'm exaggerating, but just to go this like 50 or 60 miles, I'm gonna say 50. That's still about an hour and 45-minute drive because of the traffic jams. So I left work early, and then I went over there, parked right behind the stadium. I could see the back of the theater where her RV and stuff were loaded, which you'll see in a minute. And then I went and ate, and then I went in there, I bought the album and bought a sticker and whatever. Went, took these other pictures where he's showing me at the stage. Then she comes on and performs. During one of the songs, she comes up and grabs my hand while she's singing. And I was like, I wish I had my camera out. I was talking to these ladies. It was just me. I just went by myself. It's my wife. She's not into her that much. So I was super happy. I got to shake her hand. She did most of her new album, but she did her hits. And it was neat to see her just go the whole concert without interference from other bands. So that was on July 13, 2023. So just over a year ago. And then after the show, I was talking to her like sales guy, selling the merch, and he works for her, and I was just joking around with him. Oh yeah, give her my number, whatever. And so, anyways, kind of wandered around, and then I left, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back out by the RV and see what's going on there. I walked back there. There's like 10 people standing around, and I was like, oh, you guys waiting for Debbie? And they go, yeah. Then like literally 2 minutes later, she pops out, comes right up to us. So I let her talk to all these other people first, because it was like one girl's birthday, and she was doing like a little video on her phone for her. And then she got to me, and then of course I was kind of buddy because I've been waiting so long to see her, like full on, and to even meet her on top of that. So I was kind of like a little tongue-tied, even though I meet a lot of these people, but she was like an important one to me. So I was a little spastic, and I was like, oh, I've always wanted to see you, but you never went to Albuquerque. She's like, oh, I think we went there once, and I was like, oh, so I felt stupid. But she was super sweet, and then I asked her to sign my ticket stub, and I gave her the green pin. She goes, oh, you want it in green? I was like, yeah. Oh, to match my new album? And I was like, yeah. So she thought that was neat. So I just chit-chatted with her for a minute, then let somebody else take a picture with her. I was talking to her dancer that you see back in the 80s, and then I was like, oh, Debbie, can I get a hug? But I didn't make the shot. But so Robert, love you, Debbie. And so she was super sweet, and so that's cool. So I can't wait to see her again. And then like the guy gave me this thing, so if you're interested in being a fan club member, I don't do this kind of stuff, but if you're interested, that's something they gave me at the concert. They get to like buy the tickets first, and you can actually get seats up on the stage while she's performing. And then last but not least, this is the album that I bought I already had the CD. So I had the CD, so I already uploaded that into the computer and onto the SD card playing in the Jeep. So I bought this. Now the guy told me the vinyl, you have to play on like 77 or whatever it is. You have to run the 45 and 33 together. Or maybe you have to play it on 45, one of those. Because he said they wanted better quality, so they pressed it different so it doesn't play normal, but I've never played it. I just have it mostly as a collector's item. So that's the Body Remembers. And that's autographed, but that was autographed when, you know, it was already autographed that day, because I was like, oh, where did she autograph it? Or, like, I was like, where did the autograph happen? Like, was this way in the past? Did it happen tonight? You know, and he's like, oh, he misunderstood me, or maybe that's the way he took it. I was like, oh, was this autograph like here? And then he asked the guy, and he goes, oh no, I think she autographed it backstage. And I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. Like, were these autographed tonight? Or, yeah, it didn't matter. It's fine. So anyways, here's the inside. Give old Nick his credit there. Pretty dress. She's still pretty. And then this stuff here, that's just the credits. So we're not going to go into that too much. And then, of course, that's from one of her videos that she did. I'm a big fan of Runway. That's a great song. They're all pretty good. I don't like the redo. This is the guy she did it with at the SAP Center, but then they re-recorded it in the studio, but they just kind of did some kind of weird pace to the song. So these are all good. Runway is excellent. Strings is really good, kind of a ballad. I Can Take or Leave, Legend. Girls Night Out was her popular one, because she reached number 1 or number 2 or something on the dance charts with this one. I think she has a few that's she's actually charted again with this album, but it's mostly the dance charts. And so it's actually pretty good stuff. But I swear, you can follow her on Facebook or whatever, Instagram. She dresses like this every day in public, so she's super skinny, but just because she had the Lyme's disease. And just to wrap up my little Debbie Gibson run here, so this is the special green vinyl. So maybe it says how you have to play it, I don't know. So still never been played. Haven't really been playing records since we moved into these apartments, but there you go, folks. So there's my Debbie Gibson special. Let's see, 2 ticket stubs, the 2 albums, the CD, and the story. Oh no, I'm not done. So I almost forgot, folks. So then the pictures. So this is me with Debbie Gibson outside the back of the Bankhead Theater. So she's signing my ticket stub there. I still have that pin. Then the person just kept taking shots for me. And then here I am, kind of looking like, it's just when they caught me, you know. I should have asked them to do video, then I could have just screenshotted. And she's a lot taller than I expected. Quite the outfit. So, and this one. So I got 2 different ones where we're both looking. But this was after I kind of felt stupid for being like, oh, you never played Albuquerque. And so, nevertheless, And there's that ticket stub. That's the backstage. That's not me. They got their RV, so they came walking out here, and so did her dancers and all these people. They're like down these stairs. And then I did some videos where I was trying to get a selfie if she had come by again, because she was like right down the stairs. She was like right here, because earlier she came up and shook my hand, and then later she was like right here again, and I was trying to get a selfie. So let's see if we got any volume here. So she's doing ABBA here. Speaking to my wife, because she's a big fan of Dancing Queen. This guy's been with her since the beginning, when she was doing Out of the Blue. There's people up on stage on both sides, looking like Diamond Deb heads or whatever. She went out there and played guitar to ZZ Top's Legs. I don't want to get copyrighted. Alright, there's the stage. That's me before the concert. Then there's the checklist or set list. So that was the ABBA part there. But she did, you know, she did the Runway, Foolish Beat, Lost in Your Eyes, Out of the Blue, all that. So Cheers, that's a good song off of her Christmas one. Alright, so nevertheless, I had a good time. Got to meet somebody that I've always wanted to meet, and got her autograph, got to meet her, and she was super sweet to me, so that was cool. So anyways, happy birthday, Debbie Gibson. Happy 54th, and I can't wait to see you again. That way, now that I got the meeting you out of the way, I won't be as awkward next time. Alright, thank you for a lifetime of joy. I've really always enjoyed her music. Lots of fun stuff, people. Alright, so I guess I'll be doing more episodes of these like ticket stubs and stuff too. That's just kind of a teaser. I'll try to do ones where it's like pretty concert specific, but that would take like 600 days, so I might have to do a few at a time. But anyways, this day is about Debbie Gibson, so thank you, and alright people, take care. Bye, Debbie.